Hello, everyone. Today I am not feeling especially well. Now, how is that, you might ask? I feel like I'm descending into the depression I once felt a long time ago. There are triggers in our lives where we experience certain things, and then the initiators of that experience is something that we remember along with that experience. What caused the experience, and what caused the experience is what becomes ingrained as the beginning of a memory. When we enter a situation that has the same trigger, the same thing that we perceived as a cause, whether it's conscious or subconscious, then we start to descend back into that state, or we can, not every time, but we can descend back into that state. This is why I know that I'm descending into that state, because I recognize the trigger. I recognize the trigger for my depression, and I recognize that I feel I feel that same depression I felt that long time ago. And what caused it? I have been drinking too much recently. That hasn't helped. But the main cause of it is I'm starting to feel like I don't have uh, the friends that I always wanted. Um, before I became a very spiritual person, a long time ago, well, years ago, um, I hung out with a lot of people. All of these people, all the dozens and dozens of people I hung out with on a regular basis, they didn't they didn't provide me with a good peer group. They didn't provide me with a progressive peer group, a positive peer group, to evolve myself spiritually, mentally, and even physically around. It was always a drawback, pulling away from my highest ideals that this peer group of many people influenced me, but I made the decision into becoming lesser than I could be. And what I realized eventually was that I just felt worse and worse when this happened. When I was pulled down by these people, I felt worse and worse. So I cut them off from my life. I decided, okay, I'm not going to hang out with these people anymore. And my friends list went down to, just a few friends, because I only really had a few real friends who I could speak with about spiritual things, about political things, and who I could do activities with that wasn't just drinking or using drugs or something like that. Very basic things. And these few friends, I even feel distant from them right now. And feeling distant from people was what triggered my depression all that time ago. Now it's triggered by a feeling of disconnection with my friends again, but I only have a few friends, so it's a hell of a feeling to feel all alone. And a lot of people who suffer from depression, a lot of people are schizophrenic like me. I'm minor schizophrenic, so I don't seem like I'm schizophrenic most of the time. A lot of people who suffer from depression because of schizophrenia, or because they have major depressive disorder, or something that happened in their lives that made them depressed, and they have to go to a therapist for. Um, we feel all alone. We feel as if there is there is no stability and nothing to hold on to. Uh, when we feel afraid, when we feel separated from all things, and when we feel like we don't have a good foundation to stand on and something to hold on to, that's when despair just spirals out of control. And I hate this feeling. I hate despair basically bringing me down to the level that I thought I had passed a long time ago. And we have to figure out some way to get out of it. Now, being in the depressed state I am, I might not seem like it, but I kind of perked myself up for the video. But when I'm in this state, I do feel like, what's the point of living, man? I mean, if I feel like nobody really wants me around, I don't have any friends, I don't have a girlfriend right now, and my life, my career isn't going the way I want it to go. I haven't gotten my book published yet. I've been trying to get agents. I'm still working at the same job that I don't feel like it's furthering me at all in any way, and it just feels like life is pointless, meaningless, and that I'm not going anywhere. Now, as a believer in God, and I'm Hindu, but I recognize every religion as viable path to God. I would never kill myself, not just because of that. Even if I didn't believe in God, I don't think I would kill myself. But when I'm in this state, I find myself wishing more and more that something would happen to me where I would die. And a lot of people who suffer from depression or feel depression because of something, or maybe it's just imbalance like me, which I haven't helped with my drug and alcohol use in the past, and my alcohol use now. Um, we we don't we don't picture life as going anywhere, so we don't mind the idea of dying. It's an appealing idea. Uh, all those who like me uh, wouldn't kill themselves, just hope that somebody or something would happen to us so that we do die. And if we did die, uh, then we feel like the pain would go away. I'm not sure that it would, because I believe in God, I believe in the afterlife, I believe in reincarnation. But if I killed myself, since I believe in reincarnation, that would be a big karmic debt that I'd have to repay in one way or another. But it's not a good feeling. You can fight your whole life with depression, and feel like you're back where you started every time an episode really kicks in again. And my methods for dealing with depression are exercise, the basic one, spiritual and philosophical research, reading books that explain things in the ways that I need most, spiritual upliftment, enlightenment, philosophical motivation, and trying to understand the things that lift me up above my little state, my little life, something that lifts me up into the cosmos, something that lifts me up into reality, studying things that make me see the grander picture so that I don't focus on my small piece of the puzzle. And that's the second practice, I guess you could say, that I'll mention. And the third one, first is exercise, burning off anxiety. Second is, of course, reading spiritual things, philosophical things, things that make you think about the big picture and not just the little picture, and maybe even reading books that make you understand your little picture. The third thing is willfully staying away from certain emotions. Like, a lot of people will say, how do you get out of emotion? How do you release it and destroy its grasp on you when you're feeling it at the time, when you're caught in its fists? And I'd say that try to practice positive self-talk in your mind. When you tell yourself, I don't want to live, or when you tell yourself, there's no reason for me to be around, when you say that over and over again, when you say, nobody really wants me here, nobody really recognizes me, I might as well be dead, those little pieces of self-talk add up. Even if one little statement doesn't feel like it has a drastic impact on you, those statements build up. They become an inner dialogue that can destroy you just as easily as a bullet to the head, and it may bring that. So positive self-talk is the third thing that I would recommend as far as how to get out of this depressive state. Now, I'm doing all of these, and I'm doing better than I ever would have in the past, but I still feel depressed. So it's gonna be a little while I work these tactics, and while I try to pull myself from the jaws of that ancient wolf that I have a very close relationship to, sadness, depression, defeat. And while I do that, I will share my thoughts, not just on here, but honestly, I haven't been as active on YouTube, but I'll share my thoughts on Twitter, on Facebook. My name's Hunter Salazar. You can look me up on Facebook, Hunter Salazar in Texas. On Twitter as Man Who Laughed On is my name handle, and or I guess you could say username. And my Twitter account is under the name Man Who Laughed, and you'll see my picture on there. But if you have any questions, feel free to comment. If you have any statements, feel free to comment. I'm always looking for more feedback, more connections with people who really want to talk about these things. And I just want to say thank you very much for watching if you made it with me this far. And if you're suffering from a similar problem, I'm willing to help. And I really hope you get over it just like I hope I do. Thank you very much.